Hello, everyone, and welcome to our interview of the week. So this week, we're going to be talking to Sierra Ashton. Hi, Sierra. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
That's great. How's your day been?
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So you know the drill. I sent you some questions. We're going to talk about it. And so to all the viewers out there, Sierra, why don't you tell us a little bit about your dance background?
Okay, so I started dance when I was 3 years old, so I've been dancing like pretty much my whole life. And I started in California at a really small local studio, and then I moved to Arizona, and now I dance at Plum Performing Arts Center,
Okay.
and I've been there for almost 6 years now.
Wow.
And yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So this is a very loaded question, and maybe I should think about rephrasing this, but what does dance mean to you? Like what is the most important thing about dance for you specifically?
For me, I think dance is all about telling a story, and it really can depend, like, if the choreographer tells you a specific story that you're supposed to tell, or if you make up your own. It's just really cool to be able to share with the audience or whoever's watching, like, the story behind the piece or whatever you're feeling emotionally during the piece. And yeah, it's just a really nice way to express a story, I guess.
Awesome. I guess that ties in right into the next question. So like, why do you dance? What does dance mean to you? It kind of
Yeah.
all goes together.
Yeah.
So you were part of Wintermix last year, correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I guess what was your role in Wintermix?
Okay, so basically there was like a couple different groups, and we all filmed our own little like piece, I guess, and then it was all put together to make a really cool movie type thing.
Yeah.
And my role was, I was in the red group, and it was like more of the intense group, and I thought it was really fitting because I really like intense, like contemporary,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. So this is kind of related to it. So what was like one of the most striking or the most like fondest memories that you have from your time specifically with Wintermix?
Okay, so let's see. My favorite memory from Wintermix is probably, so we got to work with Sarah Brinson, obviously, and when we had our rehearsal with just her, I just loved the way she worked, and like she would give us like a phrase to do, and then she would let us add our own things into it, sort of, and she would really let us like express ourselves the way we wanted to. Yeah. And I got to do like this little duet with one of my friends there, and we did it like all alone once in the studio, and it was just so cool because I felt so connected with my friend, and I don't know, it was just really like magical, I guess.
That's awesome. I can only imagine how excited Sarah would be to hear that right now.
Yeah, really nice.
Yeah, no. So I know that you gave us a little bit of background about your specific history with dance and your kind of journey. I guess like outside of doing Wintermix, like what are some of the biggest accomplishments that you think you've had outside of the program?
See, I think that outside of Wintermix, so last year I went through a really rough time in my life personally. Yeah. And I think that one of the greatest accomplishments for me was getting out of that and getting back into dance this year, because I really missed it, and it was a part of my life that was gone for a couple months that I really...
Did you take a break from doing dance?
Yeah, I took a break for about like 3 or 4 months, and just because I had some personal things that were going on and I needed to, just figure those out. And once I got back to dance, I was so happy, and I was like so ready to be back. And I think that getting out of that hard place, having dance to be there for me, was one of my greatest accomplishments.
That's so great to hear. Honestly, like I'm not in the dance community, clearly.
Mhm.
But after, you know, talking to all these different people, it's so great to see how, like, me as an artist, like, I focus on writing and
Yeah,
photography and stuff, and it's great to see how people can feel these same emotions from different forms of art.
yeah,
And yeah, dance, like, a lot of people I've heard say, like, dance is my therapy, like, that's what I
yep,
that
it
what
really is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So let's backtrack a little bit. So we've talked about you getting back into dance. So what are some of your goals that you specifically would like to accomplish in terms of your art this year?
Okay, so this year, I really want to accomplish, I just want to overall have more confidence in myself because I've really struggled with that in the past. And I think that that break kind of helped me just figure out that dance is really not about like winning or trying to impress anyone. It's more about like impressing yourself and doing the best you can be
Yeah.
and being unique and all of that.
Awesome.
I just really want to focus on that this year.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so like you said, you did talk about some of your personal like obstacles that you face when it comes to just pursuing your goals, but
Yeah.
specifically in dance, are there any specific hardships that you had to overcome in order to get to where you are in your technique and your skill today?
Yeah. So I have sort of been all over the place with dance. I started out when I moved to Arizona, I really wanted to be a ballerina.
Yeah.
That was like all I wanted to do. I was going to go to a strictly ballet school. And then I just met someone from like a competition studio where I go now. And I was like, that seems really fun. Like, what if I try that? So I tried that. So I wasn't doing as much ballet. And so then my technique started to sort of slip a little bit. So now recently I've been getting a lot more technique in so that I can be more well balanced. So I've been kind of all over the place.
Yeah. And I think oftentimes that when people are like developing themselves in their art form, that it's very common for that to happen. Just like slipping back and forth between like wanting to be creative and then wanting to, you know, get that technique down, get that
Yes.
precision down. And
Yeah.
sometimes like it can actually bog us down thinking about the fact that we aren't being as technical as we
Mhm.
can, right?
Yeah.
So kind of, so you're talking about your friend, how they kind of like inspired you to go in a different direction in terms of
Yeah.
dance. So like obviously aside from that friend, would you say that there are some people that have been extremely influential in your life, and who would they be and why are they?
So my number one inspiration since I started getting serious about dance has been Jordan Pelletieri.
Okay.
And she danced at Plum with me for a couple of years, and then she went to a training program in Canada.
Yeah.
And now she's dancing with NDT2,
Yeah.
which is all I've ever wanted to do. She's like, and she's such a good person too. Like she's so genuine and humble,
Yeah.
and she's obviously an amazing dancer, and
Yeah.
she's also a really good friend of mine.
Yeah.
So I've always looked up to her since I met her, and she's been like an older sister to me. So
That's fantastic. That's so great to hear. It's always great to have not only like a friend be a, I guess, like a motivation or someone to
yes.
look up to, because like in that way it never feels like it's a competition. You feel like
Yeah.
you're growing with them,
Yeah.
right? Um so obviously your friend was a great inspiration to you. But let's talk about what happens when you feel really demotivated. So if you know you're not doing the best, like emotionally, mentally, whatever it may be, what inspires you, or what do you do to get inspired when you feel demotivated? And
Okay.
like what's kind of the light at the end of the tunnel for you when it
Yeah.
comes to feeling demotivated?
So when I feel demotivated, I'm just tired or whatever. I think about my friend who passed away in February. He was one of my closest friends, and he had always motivated me to keep dancing and keep working hard. And I just remember him always telling me to keep going, even if it's hard. So I always just think about him and doing it for him, whenever I get down about that. And I would want nothing less than to make him happy. So I always just think about him whenever I'm demotivated.
I'm so sorry to hear that, but I am 100% sure that if he was here right now, that he would probably be really, really happy to hear that you're doing this for him too.
Yeah.
So taking a step in a different direction from that, in terms of your dance, what do you think are one of your best qualities, or one of the things that make you really successful in your dance ability?
So I think one of my best qualities dance-wise would be that I'm really good at working with many different types of choreographers. Like, I usually get along with just about anyone. So even if it's not my style of dance, like, I'm not the best at hip hop, but if I'm getting a hip hop dance, like, I'm gonna try my best, and I'm gonna really make sure I try to do what the choreographer tells me. So I always try to
be versatile, right?
Yeah. And I like to get along with everyone. So I think that really helps.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I know this zoomed by really quick, but we're on to the last question of our interview. So if you think back to yourself earlier on in your dance career, or just when you were younger, what if you could go back in time and give yourself a piece of advice of like what you would do differently, what advice would you give to your younger self, or even just other dancers and other artists?
Yeah, so I think that anyone who's young and any type of art, or really anything, I think my advice would be to do it for yourself and not try to impress any other people. Because once you start thinking about what other people think, you're not going to have fun anymore, and it's just going to be hard and depressing if you just keep trying to do what people want, but sometimes you can't do that. So you just have to really do it for yourself.
Yeah. And oftentimes I think that people think that they have to fit into this like mold of what people expect them to be, or what they think a good dancer or a good artist should be.
Exactly.
And art and dance in general is just not about that. It is about that, but it's more so about getting that sense of accomplishment, sense of self through it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Sierra. I really appreciate you just sitting on a call with me really quick. And I'm so excited for everyone to see and get to know a bit more about you. If you guys want to know more about Sierra, you can follow her on Instagram in the comments below, or like in the bio below. Is there anything else that you wanted to leave with our audience today?
Maybe just everyone just needs to be as positive as they can be at all times, because that helps everyone. And I just wanted to say that to everyone, I guess.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sierra. It was so great talking to you.
Thank you.
Great. Bye.
Bye.